Hello guys, and welcome to a new Still Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Tali Ihantala, and I'm going to be playing with Koruck 559 with the balanced deployment type. This division, often seen as one of the worst divisions in the game, I would say that it rates probably the best of the worst, because it does have a reasonable amount of different tools. It can be a pretty strong division in 1v1 due to its really good opener. But let's go have a look at what we've got going down. So first of all, a couple of LVF chasseurs here. These are going to be providing my recon, actually relatively good recon squads. Then we have the SUPREMACY leading the charge. We've got the Rona Pioneer. We've got a couple of the captured Soviet infantry guns. We've got the SPW ADGZs, which are very, very interesting 20mm autocannon vehicles used for security in the backlines. Then we have the Flak 36, which is an AA piece. We have two of the captured ZIS-3 Soviet AT guns. The Sicherungs here, which are actually pretty good at the start of the game because they have a Granatbuchse, which has a heat round that's effective at dealing with light armor. Then we have the T-60s, which have the 20mm autocannon, the T-34, and 4 Panzer IIs, also equipped with 20mm autocannons. So a pretty 20mm heavy start for my division. I'm just going to be contesting this road today and this forested area. This area of the map, it leaves your forces quite concentrated, and that's very good for Koruck because you don't really have a lot of very good forces. The good forces that you do have, you want to maintain like a good amount of local superiority with. Like in Phase B, you get access to some 2-bet Tigers, and those kind of need babysitting because they are the only real strong heavy tank that you're going to get in the entire division. So keeping your forces together with this division is actually pretty important. You can't really spread out too much across the map unless it's with your air force, and that's what I'm actually going to be doing at the start here as I bring up a Ju-87 G1 to help engage some of this armor that ND's pushing with all of these Humber LRCs, which are very light vehicles with boys anti-tanks rifles. So I'm going to be trying to take out as many of them as I can because Taki's units are getting run down there. But I'm also going to be making a push on the left-hand side here. I bump into a bazooka. We also bump into the demolition groups. The demolition groups, they're going to try and smoke themselves off and go for a runner, but we are able to pin them down very, very quickly thanks to the PVSH and the SVTs. Also those grenades managing to get through the smoke. So the two veterancy there really paying off. That allowed the HE grenades to get thrown quicker. They have a better aim time thanks to the SUPREMACY providing that extra veterancy, and so we managed to break through there pretty quickly. And I'm going to be trying to push towards this village so that we can maybe take control of this island and also the flag further to the right. But there is going to be an M4A1, and that's bad news as it does manage to penetrate my T-34, and my 20mm autocannons are not really going to be that effective unless I can completely overwhelm them. So the way that it would work is I would get all the 20mm to engage the M4 at once, and then they would just suppress it enough that we can surrender it. That would be what I'm going for. T-34 unfortunately misses a shot onto the M15. Mr. Frodo's going to get that out of the way. Meanwhile, the T-34 is still in trouble, and I was going to plan to bring in a HS-129 to help deal with the M4s, but with the M15 on the right not dying, and then there being another one on the left that we see, that is a problem. Now, we did manage to take out the 50 cal there very, very fast, and we're going to do a nice drive-by here onto the 4 M1 gun. It gets absolutely obliterated in the cabbage patch. Gotta love the cabbage patch in these games. Absolutely huge vegetables. Do lose another T-60 there, so I'm going to try and just get over to the other side where I can maybe kill off the AA unit at least, and therefore open up the Ju-87 to come in and help us out. But I'm going to end up bumping into the glider rifles, my recon vehicle there. Not able to spot them quick enough because they're in heavy cover, but good chance for me to run down the Cromwell 6 at least of ND, so we get that surrendered nice and quick. And now we're going to be pushing across to that AA piece. But the glider rifles, of course, keeping us away here with their bazookas, and they're able to clean up the rest of the 20mm vehicles that get too close. But the Panzer II is still on the move, looking for those kills onto the M15 here. I just have them on a move order, so they were reversing. They were reversing because they were also facing the bazooka. But just waiting for the turret to come round there, and we can kill the M15. But that Panzer II is going to get crew killed by the M1 gun back here. We're just hoping that I can finish that off before the rest of these vehicles die. And there it is, the Panzer II gets the job done. But more reinforcements on their way will make it difficult for me to continue to secure the town. And another crew kill there means both those Panzer IIs are goners. But I am going to be using the captured ZIS-3s as artillery to try and engage that AT gun. I did get beaten to it by Taki here with the 60mm mortar, and Taki has managed to recover against the initial push from Endy, so good job there. Managed to take out both of the Cromwells with his Panzerjägers, and then ripped up the Humbers as well. Unfortunately, Cromwell 7s might present a bit more of an issue, as they do have the 120mm of frontal armour. But whilst this push on the right hand side was going on, I did manage to sneak a Sigerungs across here to the flag, so we're going to be holding on to that and keeping it at a 14-14. Ju-87 is coming in. Since I did manage to kill one of the AA, what I was hoping I'd be able to do is use the recon to spot the enemy AA and then hit it with an AT plane. So HS-129 coming in. Ju-87 is going to take the initial shots. Unfortunately, not really enough time. The M15 CGMC got buffed a little while back, and it became very, very effective at suppressing forces. So yeah, unfortunately for me, no chance, but I am going to be able to put the artillery on target now. If he doesn't move it, there's a good chance I might actually kill it off, because we do have the radio, as you can see, thanks to the Superführer. So Superführer providing this radio radius that we're able to use corrected shot on any artillery that also has a radio. Really, really handy. We're going to be bringing in even more forces, because as that is now getting pinned, I'm hoping that maybe I can use the Ju-87 recon to spot it again. We bring in the Ju-87 with the gun pods and we finish it off. But turns out artillery most likely did the job. So it's only the M4A1s with their 50 cals that are going to be able to prevent my aircraft from doing their job. Unfortunately though, the Ju-87 and HS-129 is still on cooldown, and I'm only going to be having access to a limited amount of those in phase A. I think I could have maybe bought a second HS-129, but regardless, going for the Speerverband play. Speerverband disheartened infantry for 20 points, but they do have a bazooka, not a bazooka, a Panzerschreck. So able to kill off these M4s very, very efficiently if I can get close enough. Unfortunately, the glider rifles proving difficult to take care of. But I do have the Rona Pioneer and the Sisterungs backing them up, so I'm hoping that will get the job done. Nice mortar fire coming in here from Taki, going to keep things pinned down. LBS Chasseurs helping spot things. You can see that the LBS Chasseurs, pretty nice loadout, especially with the latest patch. They're much better as well, because MP40's got a big buff. So 9 MP40s, MG42s, pretty good. Anyway, Ju-87 coming in there for the free strafe onto this infantry, because the Sigerungs otherwise wouldn't be able to deal with the airborne rifles with the LMG, because we are fighting against the 101st. Their infantry quality is just way higher than ours, so we are very much reliant on these like strafing planes to kind of level the playing field, or use my ZIS-3s as artillery, or maybe even just bring in like mortars or whatever. Anyway, next HS-129 is on the way, and since all the AA is dead, I'm really hoping for a nice triple kill here onto these M4A1s. Unfortunately, only going to be one on that pass, and the 50 cals still proving to be a problem, since it did manage to at least force back the Ju-87. We're also taking some AA fire from the left here. But here come the mortars. They're going to be able to help me equalize the infantry disparity as well. Just a lot of infantry on the way, because we've got Endy trying to back up Frodo here. with the converted RAF and the Fusiliers. So it's making it very difficult for me to find ground, but at least Taki's managed to take advantage of Frodo's limited forces on the right hand side and pushed and secured this objective. Now I am technically securing this objective as well, which I believe was an offensive objective for me to take, so that was pretty nice. Going deeper towards this village was just a bit greedy for me. Now Ju-87 here taking some fire from the Citroen Hotchkiss, so that's going to get forced to fall back, but it will hover around long enough for the Ju-87 to come in and try and get some more kills. Unfortunately, again, only one kill with that Ju-87 strike, but still a good strike. As whittling down this sort of medium armor is fantastic for Koruck, because you really don't have much to deal with it, especially in the early game, if you're going to want to be able to survive the mid game using your Tigers. Now I have got the Flak 36 far enough forwards here that it is engaging some of this infantry, so that's helpful, and Taki's bringing in the bombs to give me a hand as well. So that's going to make sure that these stay pinned down, and the disheartened infantry is going to fall back on its own, so that's worked out quite nicely. Lots of grenadiers on the way now. Grenadiers do have the machine guns to engage at longer ranges, so that's going to be kind of handy for me. And then I have the Rona Pioneer here that can push much closer. So currently just got a fast move command on the Rona Pioneer to try and see if we can surrender some of these infantry before we unload. Unfortunately for me, my mortar fire gets a little too friendly and takes out the Rona Pioneer in the truck by accident. There we go, Panzergrens unload, and those MG34s can unleash at range. M4 manages to get a cheeky shot onto another truck though, and we lose the second squad to that engagement. You can see just how much I'm trying to get on this infantry. We've got the mortars firing away. We've got all of the aircraft now coming in. P-51 from Frodo is going to get some nice bombs on target. But here we go for the strafing run. Now these are pretty badass. They've got these like twin gun pods on both sides. So we're looking to try and get some good strafing going. Now since I noticed the new AA had come up, I was hoping to maybe redirect the Ju-87s to kill those. That Ju-87 did get killed off, but we managed to trade it for one of the AA, so that's pretty good for me. If he's relying a lot on the M15 CGMCs, and taking them out does open up the skies for me in future air engagements. And with Koruck, it is important that you do focus enemy AA, because HS-129s and the Ju-87s are one of the biggest ways that you're going to be dealing with enemy armor. This division, quite limited, but I think it has more opportunities than other divisions. Like if you compare like 3rd VDD, that's a very one-dimensional smoke division, requires smoke and infantry play, and that can be countered very easily by artillery or bombs. But with Koruck, you have a few more options. You can do smoke infantry plays, like I was trying to do with the Speerverband into the forest here, or into the village, sorry, in order to kill the tanks at close range. But you also still have, you know, options with your heavy tanks, and you also have options in the air that you can kind of utilize. So in this case, I'm really going for that air strategy, trying to neutralize enemy anti-air so that I can continue to bring in these Ju-87s, because the Ju-87s with their gun pods actually reload pretty fast. So coming in, getting some good damage onto the glider rifles. Ju-87 going in for the kills. That time gets a triple kill as we manage to take out 2 Churchills and an M4. Absolutely beautiful. HS-129 just a little bit too slow to get in on the action, but a lovely, lovely engagement for sure, especially since ND is now pushing with Frodo down this road. So IG and FK still engaging at least. The ZIS-3 trying its best to get a shot on target. IG able to help deal with some of the infantry and force the converted RAF to fall back. The Citroens here have been spotted, so they're going to take some shots from the M4s. Not too much I can do about that, but I am going to be bringing in the Nebelwerfer back here, as you can see. That Nebelwerfer, I'm actually going to be firing over to the left-hand side to assist Jagd in maybe making some ground, because I've currently got my opponents in a bit of a choke here. I could potentially put down the Nebelwerfer here, but because Andy was being quite aggressive with his tanks, I wasn't sure if he'd just keep moving them. So I just decided to go for the shot onto the tanks that I thought wouldn't be moving on the left-hand side. And those light armor are a lot more likely to get killed by the Nebelwerfers with those rockets in you know, 1 or 2 shots, as opposed to the heavier armor coming down here. A nice bomb support again from Taki. Grenadiers going to be able to hold the demolition group at range due to using heavy cover versus like no cover. Pack 40 is also on the way here. Going to make sure to unload that before it gets in range. And I was hoping to unload this one into the tree line here, but got a little bit too overzealous with these, like both the Kubel here and the Opel Blitz. Really shouldn't have died. I should have been a bit more careful with those. But Pack 40 is going to do its job as I tell it to attack, move forwards. The M4 might be able to get a shot on target as it does have that 2,000 meter range, but it is very slow firing. You can see it takes a long time to aim, a long time to fire. So I'm just trying to wheel the Pack 40 into range to help engage that. Ideally I would have been able to unload a little bit closer, but if the M4-105 ends up shooting my transport, I lose the Pack 40 in one shot. So it's better to unload a bit earlier, wheel forwards, and then hope that Mr. Frodo here lets us get the shots on target. A good transport kill for me. Churchill's still pushing pretty hard, but I do have the Speerverband and the Grenadiers in position if I need them. We're also now finally bringing up one of the Tigers from Phase B, so the 2-vet Tiger on the way to help us out, and this is an incredibly important unit in this division. The Grenadier was trying to go for it, lining the Panzerfaust, gets off the shot at the last second, goes down for the kill. Nice go onto the Churchill there, as it's going to stop him being able to get in close range of the Tiger. Ju-87 was hoping maybe he could pull up and take out the P-51, but that is a lot of fire coming onto my poor aircraft, and down it goes. Unfortunate. So yeah, we're under a lot of pressure here. Infantry still coming in thick and fast. The airborne rifles, pretty decent loadout with that there's Thompson submachine guns and the M1 Garands. Certainly going to beat out my infantry at least. Superführer trying to hold the line, bringing over the Speerverband to even help out. But just throwing down the smoke on the Superführer and retreating just to make sure that we can keep that alive. Because veterancy is also important. When you have a division that is a bit weaker, veterancy is a really good way of equalizing the power of your units. So making sure you bring in a commander, then you have a leader, and then you have all your infantry at like 2 or 3 vet. That's really, really nice. Even though they're technically weaker squads, maybe because of their composition or their weapons, you can somewhat make up for that using veterancy. Now in this case, a bit of a mistake on my part. Probably should have had a commander to connect to the Superführer at the front. That certainly would have made my infantry engagements a little bit more effective in this forested area. But Tiger already coming in with 2 vet should be able to deal with the Churchill 6s. So looking to do that. Pack 40 also there ready to help. Superführer going to smoke itself off and go for a run again. Tiger trying its best to hold the line. That's 1 Churchill taken care of, but 2 more on the way. Also getting hit all the while by the HE shells of the Cromwells. So a really cool engagement here with the Pack 40 and the Tiger getting the engagement down the road. Smoke here causing issues for the Pack 40. Not quite able to get line of sight there. And with the smoke now coming in close range, well, gonna have to back it up most likely if we see units come through it. Anyway, Landesschützen Ost on the way, just to kind of bulk up the front lines. I did already bring in the Pioneers, so those will basically accompany the Pioneers at close range to get extra guns on target. Meanwhile, Yags was having a bit of bad times. They're still sending the Nebelwerfer shots over to the left-hand side. Maybe I can pick off a unit or two, or soften up the defences at least for Jagdhorst to push forwards. But Tiger now having more smoke launched towards them. It's interesting, these smoke rounds. You can generally tell when a smoke round's fired by a 25-pounder because they have this like really low sort of projection across the map. And the trajectory is just like so low, and then they're also like really bright. So we know that's 25-pounders if I was paying attention. I don't think I really figured that out during the game, but now looking at the replay it's quite obvious. So just a nice tip, I guess. Anyway, Tiger got a second one coming in. That's going to be backing up the first. If the first comes under like a lot of fire, the second one can just hold the line. You'll also notice that as soon as I'm firing the Nebel, I'm moving it and unloading it again. Whenever you use Nebelwerfers or rocket artillery, you should make sure you move it after firing. It's very, very difficult for the opponent to counter battery if you do make sure to micro your units in that way. The SBW ADGZs, they're moving to the right hand side. At the moment I'm pretty confident in moving across the open here because it's just the two M4 105s. And those M4 105s are going to have a hard time at killing the 20 mils, so I'll be able to provide really good autocannon fire support onto enemy infantry without being too worried about taking too much damage from like the M4s. But lots and lots of infantry pushing in hard. ND now coming straight down the road with loads of infantry trying to get right on top of the Tiger. I'm also going to be bringing in my own infantry because I figured if he's going to try and do some sort of infantry play like this and provide all the smoke, then I might as well do the same. So we managed to pin down and surrender the Fusiliers. Unfortunately, my Tiger did take a Haftaladen to the face, so it did get damaged quite significantly, but the Tiger is technically classed as a heavy tank, so it does have the 12 health in this game, which is why it doesn't get one shot by those, since they only do 10 damage. But yeah, Spellbound on the way, Aronoschutten on the way. And yes, it's quite a scary position to be in with all of these Churchills and Cromwells very, very close to the Tiger. That, you know, there's a good chance the Cromwells might be able to encircle my forces, but using the smoke, I'm able to get the Spellbound pretty close here, and they're able to start just unleashing Panzerschreck's shots onto the enemy. So really, really cool close range engagement starts to ensue. Just absolutely awesome. It's not often you have such a pitched engagement that's so close range. But we're managing to break through. The Cromwell 5s are coming down the road. We managed to get Panzerfausts on. The Ronnerschützen are pushing forwards. Nice bomb coming in though. It's going to certainly pin down a lot of my forces, but we managed to clean out that entire push. And the Tigers are still alive on the backside, so that's absolutely huge. Big bombs coming in there. A lot of my forces are taking damage, but the Tiger still being able to hold the front line is super important. Massive amounts of forces headed my way, but Koruck holding the line. So Firefly also potentially a problem for the Tigers because of the 17-pounders, but we're able to get a good shot on target there 2 times in a row thanks to the high veterancy. So that worked out nicely. I got more Ronnerschützen on the way. They're going to be able to try and hold the line in the trees here. Also, my Air Force is coming completely back online, but I've kind of neglected using it for the meanwhile because we can actually see the AA right in front of us. So I need to take care of that before I invest my aircraft. So 17-pounder does manage to get a shot on target. It was quite close, so the accuracy was increased, but the fact that it was like half pinned and managed to pull off that shot was a little bit frustrating. Regardless, fresh Tiger 2 still alive. The damage one went down, so I'm not too worried about it. Still able to cover that road nicely. There is a little bit of a flanking maneuver coming around on our right side now, but with my concentration of forces being quite close together, yes, it does make me vulnerable to those bombing strikes like you saw, but it is one of the best ways to use Koruck. I feel like keeping your forces together, making sure you have that like cohesion and coverage is nice. So Pack 40 going to try and move in here and get its own ambush towards the Cromwell 5s. My Ronnerschützen are still continuing to push to the left-hand side, as I was hoping that there might be an opportunity to get infantry back across the water here and put pressure on the island. It's always going to be difficult for me to capture the island though, because the enemy has access to this road and I do not. Unless I manage to get like a really good line of AT guns in here, it's going to be difficult for me to win that. And with Koruck, unfortunately, like your lack of quality AT guns is a little bit of a problem. We've got the AT planes coming in again. Ju-87 got some good targets. Only manages to get one shot off, but the second HS-129 here able to help kill the Cromwell. Third manages to kill the Cromwell and an M4-105, so a pretty good strike. Ju-87s were going to go for the big gun there, but yeah, they're all going to be forced off. At least I was managing to keep them all alive. That was very good. And now the ZIS-3 and the Pack 40 can help finish off the M4-105. So we're getting some really good like set plays in here, particularly with the aircraft. That's really kept us in the game so far. Without the aircraft, we would be in an absolute hole until the Tigers came in. But here we go, the mortars. Mortars are going to be engaged in the M15. The enemy anti-air on the left front ND there, also causing problems. There's also the Crusader AA Mark II. Now it was a bit crazy that the Pack 40 there didn't actually manage to finish off the M4-105. It's not something you see too often, but the third Tiger now on the field, and that's going to be able to make short work of an M4-105. Sitting in the tree line there, blasting away. Let's see if it can get a shot on target, which it does not. So I did manage to break through here anyway. With the help of the modifier, we pushed the RAF out, and the Ronnerschützen with the cover are going to be able to win that handily. So we're taking a lot of punishment throughout the game, but we're able to hold our line. And yes, sometimes it can be frustrating, I know, to be like targeted by multiple players, but like in this case, we've held back both Frodo and Indy, which has allowed Taki to really secure this flag from Frodo, and he's also managed to like basically secure the open on the right hand side from Indy. So, you know, Taki's still kind of helping with the two players here by continuing sort of pressure on this right hand side. Also, really good job by Grim here, managed to push through and take the other flag on the opposite side. But yeah, I've still got the same game plan, basically. Artillery needs to take out the enemy AA, and then I can push in using my air for cover. Ataki has got his King Tiger on the field. He is playing with the Kampfgruppe von Tetal, so getting those King Tigers in the late game going to be helpful for our cause. M15 CGMC goes down to the Nebelwerfer, so that was great. But now this Tiger in a little bit of trouble as both the M1 gun and the 17-pounder start firing away. This time I get a little bit better on the RNG in my favour. 17-pounder misses a couple shots there, and my infantry is now going to push through to try and kill those off. Keeping the Tigers alive is super important, as I mentioned already. They are the only real thing that you have to deal with heavier targets. Now, unfortunately, turret stuck there from the enemy AA piece is pretty rough. The Mark 46, like big American anti-air. Ronnerschützen trying to push through here to take out the AT guns, end up bumping into the Churchill and the scouts. The Mark 42, that's it. This Mark 42 version of the 3.7-inch gun is 190 millimeters of penetration with 40% accuracy with 12 round per minute rate of fire. It's like the bonus AT version of the anti-air. Really, really strong. So got to keep the Tiger out of the way of that. I'm going to bring over the Opel Blitz to fix it up, just to make sure that we can continue to use that Tiger at its full effectiveness. More Landeschützen arriving. Nebelwerfer also going to be going for shots onto that Mark 42. Landeschützen with the Runderschützen might prove enough to break through here, but we'll have to wait and see. Tiger taking shots at the Churchill at least will hopefully take that out. And the Nebelwerfer taking out the AA there might help us out significantly. Unfortunately, the Nebelwerfer was taking a little bit longer than planned to aim, so shots coming in from the 3.7 shortly. So that was actually targeting the King Tiger there. Crusader AA actually going to be a problem. Nice job over here. The Scharfschütze got that pinned down a lot, and then finish it off with one rocket from the Nebel. Going to fire the rest at the Crusader AA. Tiger still trying to provide fire support while the Runderschützen and the Landeschützen push through. There goes the Nebelwerfer rounds, and we're really hoping that hits the mark, because if it does, there we go. We're able to bring in a lot of aircraft and get a decent amount of kills. Now we know that there is one more on the left here, so you'll notice that all of my artillery that I've been bringing in on the backside is going to be firing at that. Now I'm really not a big fan of relying on the LEF H105s, but in this case we're closing towards the end of the game. They can use radio if I can get a radio up far enough, and they're just good for helping me take care of the enemy anti-air. But a solid game so far. Just going to be buying up the rest of my aircraft. You might notice I've got a lot of these Ju-87 D5s. I think I actually removed some of them after this game because I didn't need that many of them. But if there is a lot of infantry, they can be pretty handy. They can also take out light armored vehicles that don't have like any top armor. But here comes the artillery. Of course, we are being pushed in by Mr. Frodo's M5A1s now, and ND still providing more AA with the Crusader AA Mark IIs. So in a little bit of a predicament. I've still got the Tigers in play, so that's good. And if my infantry can get close enough with the Panzerfaust, they're also going to get kills. So this Runderschützen getting the Faustpatron on targets. Very nice. Yeah, more Landeschützen on the way. I'm also going to be bringing in the SBW-203s. These are captured BA-10Ms from the Soviets. They're going to be pretty good at matching the light armor, whilst also providing recon to my forces. Tiger, of course, able to make short work of those, so that's fine as well. Pack 40 on the road, still alive. That's helpful. So my Tiger here, it's got to basically push up, take out the Crusader AAs for me. And in doing so, we should open up the skies for my aircraft. Landeschützen trying to get as far as they can, but the HE of the M4 causing problems. But that's the Crusader AA down there, thanks to the help of the King Tiger as well. My Tiger on the road takes out the M4 105, so we're really starting to break things down again on the left-hand side. Another M4 gone. The great thing about these shots from the Tigers is a lot of these units were already weakened by the artillery as well. So the single shot being more than enough to just finish them off is great. But with that second Crusader AA going down, we're able to push back onto that flag. AA from Taki is going to help shoot down the B-25. So we're certainly getting into a position now where my Air Force can come into play, and here they are, all of the Ju-87s with those gun pods ready to go, led by Pipen. Got the Ju-87 D5 Recon there as well, so I can spread targets. So take out the 50 cal, trying to take out the AT guns here as well. Just overrunning my opponent with this Air Force. Got the HS-129s coming in just in case we have to deal with any more armor. But with 30 seconds left till victory, it's not going too bad. I did manage to send one of the HS-129s towards the enemy AA here. I was hoping to take that out. There it is. That's going to be the end of the game. Minor victory after 34 minutes and 54 seconds. I wanted to record this one just because it was a fantastic demonstration of how effective Koruck can be if played correctly. You know, making sure that you play around the strong units that you have. Like the HS-129s can be really good. Of course, you just got to make sure you get rid of the enemy AA. So investing all your mortars, your Nebelwerfer, the LAF H-105s to kill those tools is really, really important so that you can then bring in your own Air Force. The other thing is like making sure that you take care of the Tigers so they can be super effective throughout the game, utilizing their range. And then the other thing that we did see is the smoke play. Like some of the infantry in Koruck can be pretty good, especially like the Spiever bands can be really good value for money for killing enemy tanks. So we saw a little bit of that as well. So a really good replay for demonstrating a lot of those things. These ZIS-3s as well, don't underrate them because they have radio. They're actually pretty good as artillery as well, which allows you to do things like this, where I took out the M1 gun. They kind of direct fire that HE as well. Yeah, the Ju-87 here, taking out quite a lot for us throughout the game. The HS-129's taking out a few tanks. The Tigers, of course, standing their ground subtly here. Absolute Tiger race, just smashing things to pieces. Very, very nice indeed. Really fun game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.